President Trump. Mass deportation? President-elect Donald J. Trump is sending a chilling message with his latest staffing decisions, confirming that his administration will embark on a fierce, no-holds-barred approach to immigration. His moves suggest an unwavering commitment to delivering on his most controversial campaign promise: the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants and the overhaul of legal pathways for those seeking to remain in the United States. But the bombshells don't end there. In a move that will send shockwaves through the immigration debate, Trump revealed late Sunday that Thomas Homan, the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, IC, will be appointed his border czar. Homan, a staunch advocate for tough immigration enforcement, is expected to spearhead the administration's harsh crackdown on illegal immigration, a role that will undoubtedly fuel the already heated national debate. Before we dive deeper into this sensational story, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get all the notifications. In a stunning development, Trump has tapped Stephen Miller, the notorious hardliner who became infamous for his uncompromising stance on immigration, to lead the policy planning for his transition. Sources say Miller is set to become the Deputy Chief of Staff, a position that will give him immense power to shape the administration's aggressive agenda on immigration and national security. As Trump moves to tighten the grip on immigration policy, insiders suggest that Miller's influence will extend far beyond the title he holds. His portfolio, though not yet fully disclosed, is expected to be sprawling, giving him unprecedented power to shape the future of America's immigration system in ways that could redefine the country's social and political landscape for decades to come. The stage is set for an immigration overhaul that could set off a political firestorm, and Trump's team of hardliners is ready to ignite it. Trump's hardline immigration team ready to deliver on largest deportation operation in U.S. history. As President-elect Donald J. Trump moves closer to taking office, the appointments of key figures to his inner circle have ignited a fierce debate about the future of immigration policy in America. With Stephen Miller and Thomas Homan, two of the architects behind some of Trump's most polarizing and controversial immigration policies, now poised to take central roles, experts fear the nation could be headed toward an even more brutal crackdown on immigration than ever before. Miller and Homan, who played pivotal roles in the first term's most contentious policies, including the heart-wrenching separation of migrant families at the U.S.-Mexico border and the globally condemned Muslim ban, are back with a vengeance. This time, they're set to carry out a promise that Trump made loud and clear during his campaign: a massive deportation operation that could go down in history as the largest and most sweeping in American history. With Trump's January inauguration rapidly approaching, the stage is being set for an unprecedented effort to expel millions of undocumented immigrants from the country. Advocates fear that these appointments signal a new era of harsh enforcement tactics, targeting migrant families, asylum seekers, and others seeking refuge or a better life in the U.S. They've learned some things since the last time they were in power, said immigration lawyer Greg Siskin, suggesting that Miller and Homan may have refined their approach to deportations and immigration enforcement, making the threat even more formidable. Their return to power has already set alarm bells ringing among those who oppose the administration's hardline stance. As the countdown to Trump's second term ticks away, the chilling reality is that Miller and Homan are now preparing to expand on their past strategies. And this time, they're determined to make good on the promise of an immigration crackdown of historic proportions. The fight over the future of immigration in America is about to reach a boiling point, and this powerful duo is poised to lead the charge. Trump doubles down on hardline immigration agenda with devastating new appointments. As the dust settles from the November 5th presidential election, one thing is crystal clear: immigration remains a fierce battleground that continues to dominate the political landscape. And in his victorious re-election campaign, former President Donald Trump made it abundantly clear where he stands. He doubled down on his promise to tackle what he called the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border, promising to seal the border, deport millions of undocumented immigrants, and restore what he describes as law and order. Trump's relentless focus on immigration throughout his campaign, a topic that consistently ranked among the top concerns for American voters, culminated in his promise to enact the largest deportation operation the country has ever seen. He and his Republican allies took aim at Democratic candidates Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden, accusing them of failing to secure the border and protect American citizens. The message was clear. Only Trump and his tough-on-immigration policies could restore control to the country's borders. In a fiery statement announcing the appointment of Thomas Homan as his border czar, Trump declared, "There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders." Homan, who served as Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, during Trump's first term, will now take the reins of what is set to be a fierce, no-compromise approach to immigration enforcement. Homan, a staunch advocate for mass deportations, has been one of the loudest voices in the push to expel undocumented immigrants from the U.S. He has made no secret of his belief that the country needs an all-out assault on illegal immigration. And as Trump's new border czar, he will now oversee the forced deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin, a mission that promises to set the stage for an unprecedented crackdown. This new appointment signals a sharp escalation in Trump's war on immigration. And with Homan at the helm, the administration is poised to implement a brutal, large-scale deportation campaign that critics warn will tear apart families and ignite a firestorm of legal challenges. As Trump prepares to take office once again, the political storm over immigration is about to intensify, with no signs of slowing down. The hardline rhetoric is now translating into action, and with Miller and Homan back in power, the countdown to a historic and potentially devastating immigration overhaul has already begun. Trump's promise to close the border and rid the country of millions of undocumented immigrants is no longer just a campaign slogan. It's becoming a reality. Miller, one of Trump's longtime advisors who frequently uses incendiary, anti-migrant rhetoric, also has been a vocal proponent of mass deportations. In a podcast interview last year, he said that National Guard units in various states could be deputized to help with the deportation push. He also told the New York Times in November 2023 that the administration could set up camps to hold people pending their removal. Trump's radical immigration plans spark alarm, a looming constitutional crisis? As Donald Trump gears up to reclaim the White House, his promises of a sweeping crackdown on immigration are raising alarms not just among activists, but within the legal community as well. While Trump insists that his immigration enforcement efforts will focus solely on undocumented immigrants, his past rhetoric and policy proposals suggest a far more radical agenda could be in the works, one that threatens to upend long-established rights and trigger a legal firestorm. Throughout his campaign, Trump made no secret of his intention to go after not only those in the country without documentation, but also vulnerable groups who have been granted legal protections. In one of his most controversial statements, he declared that Haitians living in the U.S. under temporary protected status, a federal program that shields individuals from deportation due to conditions in their home countries, were illegal immigrants as far as I'm concerned. Trump's stance was unequivocal. He vowed to deport these individuals, many of whom have lived in the U.S. for years, contributing to their communities and businesses. But that's just the beginning of Trump's more extreme proposals. During the campaign, he promised to sign an executive order to end birthright citizenship, an established right enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. Birthright citizenship grants U.S. citizenship to anyone born on American soil, regardless of the immigration status of their parents. If Trump follows through on this promise, it would set the stage for an unprecedented legal battle, as such a move would clash head-on with constitutional protections that have been in place for over 150 years. As if that weren't enough, Trump's rhetoric on immigration has veered even further into radical territory. He has repeatedly referred to the flow of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border as an invasion, a term that could provide the legal justification for invoking emergency powers and deploying extreme measures to forcibly expel migrants, even those seeking asylum. Under this approach, Trump could rely on a little-known 18th century law, enabling swift deportations without due process, a tactic that critics argue would undermine the country's legal and human rights standards. However, the legal hurdles for these extreme policies are likely to be steep. Immigration attorney Greg Siskin points out that many of Trump's proposed measures, whether targeting Haitians with temporary protected status, attacking birthright citizenship, or using emergency powers to deport migrants, are sure to face intense legal challenges. The courts will be a battleground, with constitutional experts and advocates warning that any attempt to dismantle these long-standing protections could spark a constitutional crisis that may ultimately be decided by the Supreme Court. With Trump's hardline immigration policies now entering a new phase of implementation, the stakes have never been higher. If he follows through on his promises, America could be on the verge of a legal showdown that would reshape the nation's immigration system and its foundational principles forever. As the battle for the future of American immigration heats up, one thing is certain: the war over borders and citizenship is just getting started. If you like this video, then hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.